Good morning and welcome to the parents presentation at Luton Sixth Form College for Year 2 STEM students. My name is Ali. I'm the Student Achievement Manager for STEM subjects. Before we get started, I just want to give you a little insight, a little bit of context as to why we've arranged this. The reason we've arranged this is we were waiting for the government announcement regarding what they plan to do with the summer exams. And last week, the government announced that the summer exams were going to go ahead in England. I know many of us were watching the news really closely because of what happened in Scotland. But in England, the government decided that the exams were going to go ahead. They were just going to be delayed by 3 weeks. And we're living through a really difficult time at the moment with COVID and the whole situation around the world. And we're all having to adapt to different ways of working. And I'm sure you're all aware, your child will have come home and told you that at Luton Sixth Form College, we've incorporated something called blended learning, where we do some lessons face-to-face and we do part of the other lessons, we do them online. And I know as parents, I'm a parent myself, and it raises a lot of concerns, raises a lot of questions as to the quality of teaching. Are they still going to be taught? Are they still going to have the opportunities that every other student across the country has? And with that in mind, we decided to put this presentation together. And the presentation will be led by what I call academic improvement mentors, AIMS. I'm going to give you a little context into what AIMS are, and they're going to talk a little bit about their journey and about what it takes to be a successful student in chemistry, biology, physics, and maths. So an AIM is a student who was studying at Luton Sixth Form College last year. They decided to take a gap year because for whatever reason, they weren't sure about university. They just thought, you know what, I need a break from education. Or they probably just thought, you know what, COVID and everything, I don't fancy going to uni yet, I'll go next year. So what we do is we interview them and then we offer them a job. And now somebody might be asking, well, who are these students? I can assure you these students, having worked with them for 2 years, are the best of the best. They'll introduce themselves, they'll tell you what grades they got, and you'll discover that their grades were outstanding. And the reason why we get AIMS is these are students who are going through exactly, and when I say exactly, I'm not exaggerating, they're going exactly through what your son and your daughter will be going through right now. UCAS, thinking about university, having to balance their work and social life, having to understand what chemistry year 2 is, what physics year 2 is, what maths year 2 incorporates, what is, all the obstacles that I'm going to get in biology. They've been through it. So I think having AIMS has your tutors is much better than having a tutor that a parent could pay to tutor their child. Why? Because myself, I'm a maths tutor, but I don't think I've set a maths exam for about 40 years was the last time I set a maths exam, although I tutor maths all the time. Somebody who's set an exam or went through everything that your child is going through 6 months ago and consistently throughout their sixth form life produced A's and A stars, I think are the best people to tutor your son or your daughter. So what is today all about? Today is all about informing you and taking your questions as to what we have planned for your child, how we will ensure that your child will not be disadvantaged in any way, and also to give you the strategy and the plan. And I'm really going to say this straightforward, if your son or daughter sticks to the strategy that we will explain, there is no way your son and daughter will leave here with average grades or disappointing grades. That's guaranteed. And now you must be thinking, wow, it's a bit brave to guarantee that. The reason why I'm guaranteeing is because we all know in order to be successful at A-level sciences and maths, it requires A, a strategy, a vision, and B, it requires commitment. And that commitment is a threefold thing. It needs to come from the student, from the college, and from the parents. Hence why we're having a parents presentation, because you as a parent play a very pivotal role in ensuring that your child will leave with successful grades. because we can give them the tutoring, we can give them everything, but your role is pivotal. And I will come back to this in Q&A. So I'm going to pass on now to Jay Patel, who's our further maths and A-level maths aim, who's going to talk a little bit about his journey, give you a little bit of introduction, and then each of the aims will run through their subjects, and at the end of which we'll take Q&A.
Hi, my name is Jay, just as Ali said, and in maths I got an A for A star, and in further maths I got an A. So I went to sixth form last year, and all four of us that are presenting today also went to sixth form last year. So this presentation is just to clear up any concerns you have and what we as AIMS are going to be doing to help out your child. Obviously, as Ali said, during COVID, it's much more difficult for students to be learning. We would ideally want students in for all of their lessons a week, but obviously we can only have them in once a week. In doing so, we hope by the end of this presentation, you'll feel more confident and have more knowledge about what's going on at the sixth form. So the aims, Ali said, we all went here last year and we are all high achieving students. So as aims, we have done the exact course that your children have been doing. We are people that are available all the time in study centres. So if anyone has questions or concerns with homeworks or exam papers, we are there on call to help them immediately. We also run Saturday sessions in which we go over a lot of topics and where we expect most students to have sessions with us. We also work very closely with our subject teachers. This is really key as it gives us a better understanding of how students are doing in their classes and how they are doing outside of their classes as well.
Hi, my name is Samaya and I'm one of the 4 chemistry aims at Luton Sixth Form College. Now, chemistry is notorious for being very hard A-level, and part of that reason is the content and the other part is the exams and the grade boundaries. So looking at the presentation, we've got the grade boundaries there from the last 3 years. And it's imperative that your child engages with those grade boundaries when they're doing past papers to see where they're working at. And this will help them in class, and they can also bring in these papers for us to mark and give to their teachers. So there's 3 papers for chemistry, and your child should have a good understanding of the breakdowns of the topics that come in all 3, because they will be sitting these exams in a few months. Going on to resources. Now, there are loads of resources here at Luton Sixth Form. Later on in the teacher videos, they'll be looking at the college resources we have to offer, so Caboodle, AtSource and SnapRevise. For chemistry, there are a plethora of resources online. You've got things like ChemRevise, A-Level Chemistry, ChemGuide, and these are all available and free websites that your child should be engaging with. Especially with this new blended model, they're at home a lot. And if they ever need any more sort of practice questions, or they need to see a video of these things happening, of specific content, and they've gone through all the resources that a college has to offer, then this is a good starting point.
Hi, I'm Stuart Sweedale and I'm the chemistry course manager for A-Level Chemistry. I want to go through a couple of things with you. So these are resources available to the students here. AtSource is our page on the internet where they can access everything that we've put up there as teachers. So all the lesson subject knowledge that you need for every lesson is pre-recorded. All the lessons with work associated with that. So if they miss a lesson, it's already there. But also, if they want to go back over any lessons, it's all there as well. So they can go over it as many times as they need to. Also on AtSource, there's past papers. They're all there for them to access at any times with marks needs. Caboodle is the online textbook, but along with Caboodle, there's also loads of questions, many of them multiple choice and self-marking that they can do as well, but also additional questions and worksheets they can also do. The textbook also has questions there as well if you're looking for additional practice, and it's a really good online textbook as well. They've also got a SnapRevise account for Chemistry A-Level, which has additional support, so it'll be explained by someone other than myself or a teacher. You know, it's explained by SnapRevise people, but it's really good as well. So that's all there. So they've got loads of resources. They can never say they can't find the information. It's there. Push them towards these. In addition to their lessons, they are being supported by academic improvement mentors. So what they're going to focus on is exam practice, helping the students with the tougher concepts, and giving them an insight to time management and preparation. It's been a long time since I've sat a formal exam like this, but the academic, or the AIMS as we call them, they've done it fairly recently, most of them last year, in fact, or a year before that. So they know what it's like, they know how to prepare for these things. And they understand the importance of past papers. At the end of the day, it's going to be past papers that will help you get ready, exam ready. You're judged by exams, so you've got to practice doing exams. So there's going to be a timetable of past papers that will roll out soon, and every week you'll get probably at least 2 papers. It will build up as we get nearer to the exams, and the AIMS are going to be responsible for making sure that you are doing those, collecting them in, making sure that you are doing and marking them. Okay? So it's really important that you don't just rush through a past paper and get it done. You work for the past paper. If you get stuck, look up the topic, go over it, because it'd be on something you should know. I'm not going to give you past papers and stuff you haven't done yet. Don't just copy out for the marking, complete waste of the time. Okay? Use the past paper, use your notes if you're stuck. If you're still stuck, ask an AIM to help you or a teacher, and then you'll build up your knowledge as you're going along throughout the year. Okay? And as we go through the year, you get more past papers on more difficult topics.
Hey everyone, welcome to A-Level Biology. So I am one of the 4 AIMs here in the Sixth Form College for Biology. So generally to speak, biology is quite a content heavy course. There is a huge jump in, there is a huge volume of content compared to GCSEs. So just to break down, biology, you're going to have 3 papers, paper 1, paper 2 and paper 3. Generally speaking, paper 3 is the paper students perform quite not that good compared to paper 1 and 3. So one of the ways you can make sure that your student, so your child is receiving quite high grades in biology, is to focus on paper 2. So mainly module 4 and 6 is quite underachieved every year. So this is one of the tips I would advise. Also, just to say that for biology, students should finish learning all their content by March, and they should start looking at past papers from the end of March, starting April. Again, if your child have any questions, any concerns, support is available in the STEM Center all day of the week. And also, if your child is underperforming in biology, they will be invited to come to study sessions on Saturday, and those sessions are compulsory that your child do attend. And yeah, attendance will be closely monitored. And I think that's all for biology. And also for the resources, there's going to be a clip coming up soon, so you can have a better understanding of the resources that's available here in Sixth Form College. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Fazana Shah. I'm the course manager for A-Level Biology. I just want to give you a little insight as to the kind of help we provide for students here at Luton Sixth Form College. So in terms of resources, there's our SharePoint, which is called @Source. Within that, there are the recorded lessons, so teachers will upload narrated PowerPoints along with accompanying workbooks or exam papers as necessary. So anything that is part of the lesson is accessible to the students. We also have something called bio fact sheets, and these are really helpful for those students striving for the top grades, and it gives them extra information, questions, and then it has a mark scheme as well. So something for them to expand their reading and expand their knowledge from the actual course itself. There are various websites that can be used. So there's something called S-Cool, which you can simply Google, and that's really good for having concise bits of revision information. And our Caboodle, our online textbook, is also available to students, as well as something called Snap Revise, which are short video snippets of quite complex content in terms of biology, and they are really useful to just listen to and watch. In terms of the AIMS, I know the AIMS will help with past papers, but I'd like to point out in terms of resources, students also have online available to them the Maths and Physics Tutor website, which is excellent. It's got all of the different exam boards. So OCRA that we do is also there, and you've got access to the past papers, and it goes by topic, which is really helpful and easy to access. And it's also got the mark schemes as well, so they can self-assess themselves as they go along. In terms of the AIMS, it's really important that they work well with the AIMS, and the AIMS provide extra extra support to students who need that. And they do that via exam practice, because half of the battle is understanding the questions and applying the knowledge that they've actually gained, getting to grips with mark schemes. So the idea of the additional support they give is really important, and it's a good way to make use of extra knowledge and extra help. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm the physics aim, one of two for the physics department, and we are working closely together with the teachers of the physics department. So to begin with, when we started doing this work, we've got a whole spreadsheet with the whole year's grades and their progress. So right now, and we are continuing to be up to date with the content and the progress of the children. So like we said earlier, we are aware of the students who got a D or below. So for them, we are making it compulsory to attend to one-to-one sessions, and as well as Saturday sessions. So we have contacted every D or below students to do that. And just talking generally about physics is that physics is one of the hardest A level, just like the others. But the thing about physics is that a lot of people tend to get about 50% or 50% or on average. So in terms of one paper that they might be doing in class, that might look like they're getting a C or a D. But if we compare it to the grade boundaries that are on the screen, in terms of all three papers, which will give you a total mark of 250 marks, you can actually lose about 150 marks to get a C, meaning that on each paper you can lose 50 marks to at least get a C. So even though it might be hard right now, you can work yourself up with to get an A. We still got time to do that. So what we recommend is to attend to Saturday sessions and just revise at home. We will be there to help them. And even if online sessions are not as good as they think, or not as good as the students might like, we do recommend them to come to the college for one-to-one sessions.
Hi, John Clinch here, running the physics course here at Luton Sixth Form College. Been asked to make you a quick little video on how you can best support your son or daughter or anyone else you're looking out for maximising success in A-level physics. So just looking at this acronym, which is quite handy for the sort of thing that needs to happen to do well on any course: vision, effort, systems, practice and attitude. I think for working with your offspring, the two important ones there are effort and practice. So what do we mean by those? Any student is going to be successful in A-level physics, even in a year where they've not had an interruption, in years when they've not had an interruption in their education, needs to be doing a considerable amount of practice. And that means questions and past paper questions. Obviously, we're setting work and trying to keep on top of looking at their work each lesson, but we need a lot more beyond that. They go to At Source, which is the replacement for Blackboard. There's absolutely loads of work on there. And in addition to that, the academic improvement mentors, they're going to be setting a past paper a week after half term, so that's something to look out for. In terms of the quality of that work, they need to try these questions initially without the mark scheme, without help. If it turns out they're looking at, the photoelectric effect and they don't understand it, then of course you might want to go make some notes on that, watch a video, use the online textbook caboodle that they've got access to, and then try the question again. And it's really important that that's then marked against the mark scheme, so they're really learning the lessons about whether they're getting things right or wrong. We've got the aims working on Saturdays and Sundays, so you can book in for extra sessions there. And if your son or daughter achieved less than a D grade in the most recent tests, I've been told they'll be contacted by an AIM to arrange weekly support during the college time. So if that hasn't happened yet, you might want to get back to Ali to find out what's happening there, make sure that that session's been arranged and you know when that's going to be. In terms of effort, that's the amount of time spent. And I don't think we're looking at anything less than 5 hours per week per subject to maximise success. And I think you can easily double that, particularly coming up towards the exam, if you really want to make more than average progress. We're going to be talking a lot about predicted grades, I'm sure. So if your son or daughter gets a C, one of the things that we hear all the time when somebody gets a C is, don't worry, I'm going to work harder and therefore I'm going to get a B. But if we say to somebody they've got a C grade, what we mean by that is roughly where you are in the year group is where the people who are getting C grades. You've got to do more work than everyone else on the course to move from a C to a B. So if everyone else is doing 5 hours a week, you're only moving forward, you're only getting a higher grade than that if you're doing more work than them. My email address is jmc@lutonsfc.ac.uk. So if you've got any queries about anything I've said or need any further advice, just let me know.
So here at Sixth Form, I'm one of 3 maths aims. In maths, there are 19 topics in total that we go through over the course of 2 years. And I always think that the best students aren't necessarily the ones who can calculate quickly in their brain. They're ones that can look at a question and think what they need to do, the method that they should go and approach. Because these are the ways in exams that they'll catch you out with very specific and very detailed questions that often require very long methods of use. So this is how I try to explain to students how they should be approaching questions and how they should be revising in general. Knowing methods is so much more key than necessarily being able to calculate long multiplications quickly, for say. So our goal as aims is to consolidate and build confidence. Consolidate and build confidence within students. We use Saturdays for the students that have been getting lower grades to go over topics that they find weak. On a week-to-week basis, we ask them which topics they'd like us to go over, and in doing so, we can build lessons that will help them. What I look at when I did my A-levels was that first year content was extremely vital. Even though people might consider it easier work, the easy work builds the foundations, the much harder topics you'll learn in second year. So from now until about January time, we are planning to go over all of first year and make sure that every gap is plugged and that everything they do is to build a better experience for them to have second year be a much easier task to go over. After that, we'll move on to applied. By applied, I mean statistics and mechanics. And these topics are often seen as hard topics, but in reality, it's because they are brand new concepts that haven't been covered at GCSE, per se. One thing I recommend is that past papers are very key. With maths papers, the questions usually become very wordy despite it being a topic about numbers, and people need to familiarise themselves with certain questions. We, as aims, are planning to start giving out past papers in our Saturday sessions towards the end of March and April time.
So, as aims, we came up with a list of things that every student should do in order to success in their A-level subject. So, if you look at the key to success on the PowerPoint, you will see it ranges from basic things such as flashcards, revision guide, etc., up to doing practice papers, and these practice papers will have to be done at home, as well as we will go and do some at the Saturday sessions, which are run by academic improvement mentors. And just in case you are concerned that on Saturday sessions there might be your son won't come due to COVID reasons, we are having enough classrooms with social distancing guidelines, so there is no reason why they shouldn't attend in terms of COVID reasons, unless they are having some symptoms. In addition to our support, as well as their revision, what's really important is that they always stay on top of the work. That includes homework, class assessment, and practice papers. So that all of this is the foundation in terms of revision and work that every student will have to do. So if you look at the keys, the golden key on the bottom corner, you can see that the really vital part of revision is that repetition. So that means that a regular repetition of starting from daily to weekly and monthly, that means that your son's or daughter's memory, that the revision stays in their long-term memory. So if you look at the graph, you can see that the retention of the memory from first learned, but let's just say that is what they do in the class, it just drops within 3 days. So it's really important that they keep revising and keep going over the stuff that I've learned, so it lasts longer in the memory.
So we mentioned earlier about how you as parents could help, and these are some ways that we have come up with as we've experienced these through last year. So simply taking a regular interest. You may not understand the subject that your child is taking, but asking them questions about what they're doing in their subject can often be an instigator for them to do more work as they see that you are taking part in what they are doing in their education. Questions just like, when are your exams, or what topics will be coming up for the next test? Stuff like this can often just help you realise exactly what's going on in their education. We also recommend not having people revise for a marathon. Like, no one wants to revise for 2 hours. I don't want to revise for 2 hours. So often finding 30 minutes in a day is much easier to encourage revision, I guess. There's also the key, you need to make a plan or timetable with your child. Doing this can often help you and them organise what they should be doing and how they should be doing their revision. This is very key because often people procrastinate and they often just leave revision, think they can do it at the end nearer to exams. But this is not the case with A-levels. Keeping on top of your work, just as Lassan said, if you forget stuff that you've done, it'll be much harder to cram in at the end. So setting out a timetable on a weekly basis is very key.
So monitoring your child's progress. Now, all parents have access through Prologue to their sons or daughters and their grades and their data. So you can ask your child how they're doing, ask for their grades from their class tests or their mocks. Just keep updated with your child's grades. It's very, very important to take an interest in that because a lot of the time it will make your child think about how much work they're doing, how much they need to achieve their target grades. If you ever need any more support or information from the college, then don't be afraid to contact Leeson Sixth Form. You can either email us or phone us, and we'll put you in contact with your child's subject teachers, with Ali, and if your child needs any support, they can always come to us as well.
So well, one of the first questions that was asked today by somebody was, given that a good proportion of sixth form colleges across the country are doing face-to-face learning 100%, how do we expect Luton Sixth Form College students to compete with what is definitely an inferior offering in comparison? Now, you can only really actually say it's an inferior offering in comparison is if you've actually compared the two together. And I think that the litmus test comes in this. I don't think any other college, even the ones that are doing face-to-face, are offering on a weekend booster class face-to-face. I'll be very surprised if I can find a college anywhere in the country which is offering science and math students face-to-face tutoring all day long, Monday to Friday, and on Saturday between the hours of 9 and 4. So although it seems on the face of it is, Luton Sixth Form students, are they losing out? The reality is, I think they're getting more than they would be, even if we didn't have COVID, we would still be offering this service. So our students get a lot more than anything else, because generally if a student has a free 1 hour gap in the lessons and they're stuck on a question, they have to wait for that teacher to be free in the lesson before they can address that. But this way, they can just walk into the STEM centre, they can speak to one of the aims and say, I'm not understanding this aspect of pure maths, can you please explain to me? Boom, they've got an answer straight away. So the reality, and also if you look at our program and that all the aims we talked about, past papers, we're literally going to print the past papers for them and give it to them, hand them in the class, and then collect them back in. Now, normally when students are told to do past papers, it's left to their they're left to their own devices. They're told, okay, do a past paper and you'll do really well in your final exam. We say, do a past paper, but we're going to monitor these past papers. And when we monitor them, your parents are going to get the updated spreadsheet of how many past papers you've done. So if as a parent, you receive the spreadsheet that says your child has only done 1 out of 6 past papers that have been handed out in the class, then you should be thinking, okay, I need to get onto my son Ali and say to him, right, what happened to the other 5 past papers that the college handed out to you? Okay. And on top of that, one of the other things that I'm not sure if the aim mentioned, is closer to the exam, we actually make them sit those past papers under exam conditions. Because anybody who's listening to this would appreciate that in order to be successful, a Premier League footballer is, when they play their games, before they reach the first team, they play in the actual stadium. So that when they actually step in front of 50,000 fans in the actual stadium dimensions are not something unknown to them. They can handle them. We use the same psychology. We put the student in that scenario where they're going to have to face a real exam under exam conditions in the sports hall, which is set up with the tables. You sit there, you come in on a Saturday morning, you drop your bag off, you sit there and you do an exam under that pressure. Why? Because we recognize that as a student, you will have brain freeze in an exam. So the more you work under that pressure, the easier it'll become. So are they really losing out? I would say no. I would say in reality, they probably gained a lot more than even colleges which are doing. I mean, I can't comment on other colleges, but I would say from what we're offering our students, so they're having lessons, they're having access to their teachers, they have access to the aims. We're open, literally, after Christmas, we'll be open 7 days a week. You know, I'll be here 7 days a week, aims will be here, 6 days a week. So that, and it's every opportunity that we can give them, we're giving them. But this is where the partnership comes in, is we can't do this without your support. We need you to be able to say to your child, look, there's no reason why you need to be stuck on a question. You've got access at any time. There's no reason why you can't understand the past paper question. Go and ask one of the aims. There's no reason you shouldn't be doing, because a child can't say, oh well, Dad, Mom, I've run out of credit on my printing, so I can't print the past paper. No, we're giving it to you. We're literally giving it to you. It's yours. There you go. A child can't say, oh, I can't find the past papers. I don't know where to look for them. Don't worry. We're giving it to you. We just want you to do it. That's all we want you to do. And that's where you come in as parents. We just need you to support what we're doing in the college. Okay. Another one. What evidence do you have that your strategy will produce proven results? That's a fantastic question. That's a fantastic question. And the evidence I have is I've been doing this strategy now for near on 6 years. And we've produced, we've gone from producing kind of average science grades to producing outstanding science grades. And if any of you have had sons and daughters here who followed the strategy, and again, I keep making this point, and you might be thinking, why do you keep saying follows the strategy, follow the strategy? Surely every student will follow it. No, the reality is like me. Recently, my wife said to me, Ali, you need to go on a diet. So I decided to go on a diet. But did I really follow the plan my wife set out for me? No, I never, because I cheated here and there. I took, little shortcuts, little whisper bar here, make an excuse, I'm tired, have a chocolate biscuit. Following the strategy means you've got to be disciplined. All of these guys that have spoken to you today, Sumaya, Samir, yeah, Jay, and Lovesack, all of them, they've been disciplined. They're disciplined students. We can't ingrain that in your child. You have to help us ingrain that in your child. When they're feeling tired, you need to just give them that extra motivation to carry on. So we have got evidence, and the evidence is previous results show that this strategy works. We've had students who were sitting on an E grade who decided from November to follow the strategy. And they left the college with B grades, and even it surprised us and teachers. And when we asked them what was the difference, they said, we stuck word to word, yeah, to the letter T, we did exactly what you told us to do. So that's really important. Not any more questions. What support is the college providing with respect to university applications? Now, university applications is not really a remit for the student achievements team. Unfortunately, I can't really comment on that. That is something for my colleagues in the career department. But in terms of, once they get interview or anything, I mean, all these guys have been through interviews. They're happy to discuss with them. And remember, a lot of the interviews are very academic based. So the more they do come to the aims and they do the practice questions and they do the exam questions, they'll find this will help them in the university interviews. But in terms of what support can this team, and it's a wonderful team, what can we support, give very, very limited, because it's not really our remit. These also aims for computer science. Okay, obviously these are not all the aims we have in the college, but we do have an aim for computer science. If you have a child who's doing computer science, please email the SAT email and we will put your child in touch with the computer science aim. Would there be a timetable provided to students who would need to attend extra classes? So what we do, there's two kinds of support. Those which are targeted, so those students who we feel, if we leave them alone are not going to study hard enough, those will be targeted and they will be told to attend. And as parents, you will also be informed that we've asked your child to come in. And then there's those students who already are emailing me saying, Ali, I know I'm getting really good grades and I know I don't need an aim, but can I have an aim? And we never say no to any student. So as a parent, if we allocate an aim or extra support to your child, then we will inform you. But having said that, and I stress this, every child who's doing A-level maths and science will be given a past paper, irrespective of what grades they get in. Every child will be expected to do those past papers. Every student will be expected to attend certain support classes. So there's some things which are non-negotiable, and there's other things which are that are negotiable, but always you will be informed. Can all students attend one-to-one sessions with aims for Saturday biology, chemistry and maths, or is it only struggling and requested? It's an open door policy. Listen, we're not, we understand that it could be a good student could want help sometimes. It's an open door policy. Anybody wants to come in. If you as a parent, and I'm putting it out there, if you as a parent think that your child needs extra support, email SAT, email the student achievements team, and you know what, we're more than happy to discuss with you. And remember, it's a three-way partnership. It can't work if all I'm doing is being prescriptive. If I'm saying you have to, you have to, you have to. I need parents to say you need to do this. I need the students to say I need to do this. So it's really a three-way partnership. With the current situation, how will our kids actually get the grades they require to get into university? Do you know if the assessments will change like last year? Fantastic question. Unfortunately, I haven't got the direct line to the Minister for Education. God knows what's going to happen. But what we do know, the definitive thing we do know is exams are happening and they're just delayed. So we have to prepare as if it's the real thing. And this is where you need to now talk to your child. If they do, for whatever reason, say COVID becomes something much worse than what they predicted, and they decide to close schools and they decide to do some kind of assessment, one of the lessons we can learn from last year, and students need to learn this, and something we hammer at students all the time this year, is do not take a classroom test. Do not take a trial exam. Do not take a piece of homework it doesn't really matter. You know what, I'll be ready for the final exam. Do not do this. Every classroom test, every trial exam, every piece of homework has to be viewed now as if it is paramount to my final grade, because we don't know what's going to happen. And if something like that comes about where they say, okay, we're going to be taking mock exams and tests from class and homework scores, if your child is come home and say, oh dad, Mom, it's only a piece of homework, it's not important, that's where you need to say, no, let's play safe, let's not gamble. Next one. Can the students access help from home, or do they have to come into the STEM room face to face? Two things. All the aims have email addresses. All the aims have access to Teams. All the aims. I mean, I'm blessed, right? And previous aims will probably be a little bit annoyed with me for saying this, but I've only worked with these guys for a while. But they're fantastic. Their commitment is off the chart. I've never seen them turn a student down. Okay, I've never seen them say to a student, I'm too busy. They go out of their way to help students. So if your child wants help, they can email them. They can even send them a message on Teams. Okay, we even have a year 2 WhatsApp group. Okay, but it's not one where they can have a chat. It's just a broadcast group. But they can send a message in, and it can be passed on to an AIM. So there's so many avenues available for your child to get support. And again, at Luton Sixth Form College, we're all about making sure that every student has the opportunity to succeed. Every student has the same opportunity as a student maybe in a private school has. And hence why we open 7 days a week. Hence why we give AIM support. Hence why our AIMs are available 24/7, even though they have their own lives, and they're preparing for university. They want to spend time with their families. But even though all of that's happening, they still never turn a student away. By the way, well done to the AIM students. You're awesome. Trust me, they really, really are awesome. Remember, these are young people. I wasn't in the room when they did the presentation. These are young people who 6 months ago were second-year students, and now they do the presentation to parents. Again, as a college, we encourage people to become AIMs if they're not going to university. Why? Because they're going to learn life skills, and they're learning some fantastic skills. So they're awesome. I agree with you. Thank you for that. What is the plan for the half-term sessions you will be providing? Will you be going over any specific content? 100% there's a plan for half-term session. That plan will be emailed to your child this coming week. Okay, we will be running sessions. We've already sent a text message went out to all students saying that the STEM Centre will be open during half-term. The only thing we're asking them to do is they have to email SAT and register. Because of COVID, we can't just have anybody walking in. So if they don't register to come in over half-term, we will not allow them in. That's strictly because of Public Health England and the COVID regulations we have to follow. So if you want your child to come in over half-term, please, 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 can they email sat@lutonsfc.ac.uk and tell us what days and what times they would like to come in. And then we can design whatever support we need to for them. But if they don't email us and they just turn up, I'm sorry, I cannot let them in. That's really important that you understand that. Okay. I would like to say how impressed I've been throughout the pandemic with Luton Sixth Form College. Georgina, thank you very much for that. Often it's easy to criticize, and it's easy to point out the negative things. And it's fantastic when we get somebody saying, something good, even if it's, there's probably more negative than positive. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that. And I'm sure the AIMs appreciate it. Would it be an effective revision timetable? What would an effective revision timetable look like, and how would you produce it? Okay, if you want to go back, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a PowerPoint presentation up, which we're going to put on. We have Sean Sagu, who's our VLE expert, so virtual learning expert. And what he's going to do, he's going to put something up which talks about revision timetables and how to be productive with revision. And that will be made available through our various platforms, social media platforms and website. We will look to do that by probably the second week back after half term. And if I haven't done it, please email me and say, Ali, you made a promise, can you please stick to it? Any more questions, guys, or is that it? Okay, if anybody's not got any more questions, I appreciate you attending. And if you do think of anything you want to ask, do not be afraid to email sat@lutonsfc.ac.uk. sat@lutonsfc.ac.uk. Would you be able to share the plan for half term before the deadline for the applications to come in during half term? Yes, okay. So what I will do is on Monday afternoon, I shall email all Year 2 students with the plan for half term in terms of what classes we've got organized with the AIMs, what content we're going to be covering, okay? And then I will extend the deadline for registering for half term to Wednesday 2 p.m. Originally the deadline was Tuesday 2 p.m, but I will now extend it to Wednesday 2 p.m. Okay, Mr. Ali, thank you for organizing today's session, it'll be useful if you could pass on a message to the careers team to organise a similar one. I will do. And before you thank me, honestly, do not thank me. This was all done by the AIMS. Every single bit of this was done by the AIMS. I just said to them, I want this to happen, and I didn't interfere. So please, I feel a little bit bad that you're thanking me. So Sumaya, thank you. Samira, thank you. Jay, thank you. Love Sang, thank you very much. And all the other AIMS who are currently, and this is what's happening right now. So these AIMS delivered the session, but currently I've got other AIMS in the STEM Centre who are working with your children right as we speak. So thank you to them as well. And I will pass on to the careers team for them to organise something for universities. Obviously, it's not my remit, but I will definitely pass it on. Okay, so before I wrap up, take-home message. Take-home message, really important. Okay, if you don't take anything away from today's session, I want you to take this away. If your child sticks to the plan that we will have in place for them to be successful, do the past papers, attend the support classes, access the AIMS, access their teachers, harass their teachers to get information, to get answers to their questions. If they do everything we ask them, and it's a lot we're asking, and it requires commitment, it requires discipline, and at times they'll become really annoyed and they'll become really angry. I get that, we all do that. If they do this, I can sit here today, okay, on the 17th of October 2020, and I can promise you that your child will leave Luton Sixth Form College with fantastic grades. Because the one thing about A-levels, it doesn't matter how smart you are, it's about how hard and how smart you work, okay? There's no magic bullet to being successful at A-levels. The magic bullet is called hard work. They do what we ask them, we get your support as parents, we get your buy-in, and more importantly, if you can motivate your child, it's so important. Listen, they're not going to get motivated by me, they're not going to get motivated by it's you. You are the ones that they're trying to. Every time I speak to a child, they always say to me, I don't want to let my parents down. I don't want to let my parents down. It's like a common theme. So because they want to please you, you actually hold the key to success. You are the ones that need to motivate them, but not only motivate them, but you need to support them because they're going to be going through some real difficult, emotional, mentally, physical, tough time. That's where you as a parent need to come in and support them and say, look, I'm on your side, I've got you. And when you say that, it will mean so much more to them than you saying, why are you not working? Replace the negativity with positivity, replace the criticism with motivation, and replace the, why you're not doing it with a lot of love, and you watch your child excel. It'll be phenomenal results they'll get. So thank you very much. I really appreciate you joining us. If there's anything we can do for you, we are an open door. We never ever say no. Email us. If we can help you, we'll help you. If we can't, we'll find out somebody who can. Thank you for giving up your Saturday morning for this session, and I hope you've taken a lot from it.